Attention passionate Atlanta, Falcons fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC South and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Atlanta Falcons' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Atlanta Falcons fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Atlanta, FALCONS FANS. Let's get to the news now, folks. If you've been following the Atlanta Falcons this season, you know that the team has been riding a roller coaster of emotions, with some highs and unfortunately some lows. But right now, a lot of eyes are on the roster moves that could really shake up the team's future prospects and their quest to return to the postseason, maybe even go deeper. And it's not just about the game plans or the offense clicking. It's about the little things, the special teams, the kicker situation that might seem minor but can be a game changer in close contests. Recently, the Falcons made some interesting moves, especially on the practice squad. They signed 2 new players, kicker Ben Sauls and wide receiver Devin Tompkins. These aren't just random additions, they're strategic moves that could have a big impact. These moves come just after the team released cornerback C.J. Henderson from the practice squad, which was a significant move in itself. It's clear that Atlanta's coaching staff is looking for the right pieces to stabilize certain areas, especially after that humiliating shutout loss to the Carolina Panthers. That game was a wake-up call, and it exposed some vulnerabilities, particularly in the offensive execution and special teams, which is why these roster tweaks are so crucial. Let's start with Ben Sauls. This guy's got a story that's worth noting. He initially signed with the Pittsburgh Steelers following the 2025 NFL Draft after a solid college career at Pittsburgh. Sauls played in all 3 preseason games for the Steelers, where he connected on 5 of 6 field goal attempts and was perfect on all his extra points. That kind of consistency is what the Falcons are probably hoping to see in practice, and maybe even on game day if he gets the call. Sauls hails from Tip City, Ohio, and during his college days, he made a name for himself by leading the Panthers in scoring as a senior, with 107 points, converting 21 of 24 field goals, and making all 44 extra points. His longest kick was 58 yards, so he's got a leg, but he's still relatively inexperienced at the pro level. This makes him something of an underdog, but in the NFL, sometimes all it takes is a shot for a player to find their rhythm. Now, on to Devin Tompkins. His story is quite interesting because he was originally signed by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers out of Utah State following the 2022 NFL Draft. Tompkins has played for both the Bucs and the Carolina Panthers, making a total of 29 appearances, with 2 starts. He's accumulated 26 receptions for 135 yards and a touchdown, along with 12 rushes for 89 yards. What really stands out about Tompkins is his college career at Utah State, where he set single-season records for receptions and yards, with 102 catches for 704 yards in 2021. That kind of production, combined with his ability to contribute both as a receiver and a rusher, makes him a versatile option for Atlanta's offense. Although he's yet to fully establish himself in the NFL, he's got the tools and the experience to potentially carve out a role, especially if the Falcons' receiving core needs some fresh energy. But the big question looming in Atlanta's mind right now is the well-known and often debated kicker situation. Parker Romo, who was fantastic in Week 2 with a perfect 5 for 5 on field goals against the Vikings, has been inconsistent lately. That inconsistency was painfully clear in the game against the Panthers, where he missed 2 field goals, and it's understandable why the team is considering their options. Romo remains on the roster, but the coaching staff is surely weighing whether to stick with him or make some adjustments. One possibility is that they might elevate Sauls from the practice squad for the upcoming game against the Washington Commanders. But here's the catch: teams can only elevate a practice squad player to the active roster 3 times in a season, so every move has to be strategic. They could also decide to carry 2 kickers on game day, with Sauls as a backup in case Romo's struggles continue. This kind of roster juggling isn't new in the NFL, but it's a delicate balance, especially when the stakes are high. And it's not just speculation. the Falcons are in a tricky spot because kicker inconsistency can cost games in the NFL. A missed field goal or an extra point can be the difference between victory and defeat, especially in tight divisional games. The team's coaching staff, including head coach Raheem Morris and special teams coordinator Marquis Williams, will no doubt be asking questions all week, trying to figure out what's best for the team's success long term. They're likely considering whether to stick with Romo if he can find his rhythm, or whether to make a move and give Sauls that shot to prove himself under real game pressure. It's a tough decision, but one that could have repercussions not just for this season, but for the Falcons' future as well. And speaking of kickers, the NFL landscape is always evolving. Just recently, former Falcon Younghoe Koo, who was a fan favorite for his clutch kicking, signed with the New York Giants practice squad. Koo's situation adds an interesting layer because if the Giants' kicker, Graham Gano, isn't fully recovered from his groin injury, Koo might get a chance to step in. It's a reminder of how fluid and competitive the kicker position is across the league, a small but vital piece of the puzzle that can make or break a team's season. Back to Atlanta, though, there's a lot of anticipation about what the team will do in the coming days. We all know that special teams, particularly the kicker spot, is often an overlooked area but can be decisive in close games. The coaching staff has to weigh whether Romo's recent struggles are temporary or indicative of a bigger issue. If they decide to go with Sauls, it will be interesting to see how he handles the pressure, especially in a high-stakes game. The Falcons are facing a challenging schedule ahead, and every point will matter more than ever. The division race in the NFC South is fierce, with teams like the Panthers, Saints, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers all eager to make their mark. Right now, Atlanta has to focus on solidifying their special teams unit, finding consistency in the kicker position, and making sure they don't leave points on the field like they did against Carolina. This is a team that's been resilient, though. They have talent, especially on offense with players like Kyle Pitts and Bijan Robinson, who continue to develop and show flashes of brilliance. But it's those little details, like special teams execution, that can tip the scales. The Falcons' defense has also been a mixed bag, but with some adjustments and a bit of luck, they're still very much in the hunt for a playoff spot. The key is maintaining focus, making smart roster decisions, and trusting the process. And in the NFL, sometimes the smallest move can have the biggest impact. Now, as we look ahead to the upcoming game against the Commanders, all eyes will be on the kicker situation. Will Romo bounce back? Will Sauls get his chance sooner rather than later? How will the team adapt if they decide to carry two kickers on game day? These are questions that the coaching staff will be debating intensely this week. And as fans, we have to stay tuned, because every snap, every kick, and every roster move could define the Falcons' season. But let's not forget, this isn't just about individual players or a single game. It's about the bigger picture. The Atlanta Falcons are building something, and their resilience and strategic moves are part of that process. They're trying to get back to the playoffs, back to the Super Bowl, and with every decision, they're taking steps toward that goal. Even in moments of doubt, like the recent struggles, there's hope and determination fueling this team. And as fans, we're right there with them, riding every wave, supporting through the ups and downs. So looking at everything, the move to bring in Sauls and Tompkins shows that Atlanta is still actively trying to improve and adapt. They understand that the NFL is a league of inches, and sometimes, the difference between winning and losing is just that one extra point or one big play. The coaching staff's decisions this week could be pivotal, and we'll be watching closely to see how they handle the situation. It's a tense, exciting time for Falcons fans, and the hope is that these new additions can bring the spark needed to propel the team forward. And now, Atlanta Falcons fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Do you think the team should stick with Romo, or do you believe Sauls deserves a shot? Are you optimistic about these roster changes and how they might impact the team's performance moving forward? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Falcons as well. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Atlanta Falcons news. We're in this journey together, and every fan voice counts. Thanks for sticking with me, and let's keep supporting our team through thick and thin. Exciting times are ahead, and I can't wait to see how it all unfolds. Cheers to Falcons Nation.